Aaron was just a servant, or at least that was what he believed. Every day he woke up before the first light and carried out his duties on the alien trade ship. His life was simple and heavy at the same time. He cleaned the halls, carried food trays, polished the shining crystal floors, and bowed to every alien who passed by. To him, he was invisible, someone who did not matter, someone who would never be remembered. But the aliens did not look at him like he thought. Sometimes, when he was working, he felt their eyes watching him for too long. It was not the look of someone ignoring a servant. It was different, as if they were measuring him, weighing his worth. There was something strange in their eyes, and though Aaron noticed it, he always pushed the thought away. On that evening, the ship glided through the darkness of space. Thousands of stars burned outside the tall glass walls. The aliens walked with pride, tall and graceful. Their voices echoed like whispers of music. Aaron followed quietly, carrying a tray. His head was bowed, his heart heavy. He told himself that he was born to serve, nothing more. Yet, something happened that night, something that made his blood run cold. As Aaron passed a corner, he heard voices. The alien leaders were speaking in their own language. He understood only pieces, but the words struck him like fire. They spoke of the chosen bond, of the Lifemate, and of the human servant who will complete the circle. Aaron froze, his hands trembled. The tray almost slipped. The human servant, he whispered to himself. Could they mean him? His heart pounded as he moved away quickly. He tried to convince himself that it was nothing, just a mistake, but deep inside, a seed of fear and curiosity grew. What was this Lifemate they spoke of? And why did they connect it to him? The next day, things grew stranger. The alien stares became heavier. When he served water, their hands brushed his for a second too long. When he bowed, their eyes followed him even after he left. It was as if he was part of something he could not understand. At night, he could not sleep. He lay on his thin bed in the servant quarters, staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed the whispers, the chosen bond, the Lifemate. The words meant nothing to him, but they carried weight. They carried danger. The ship soon approached an alien world. Through the window, Aaron saw towers of light rising from the planet's surface. Rivers of glowing blue energy ran through the city like veins. The aliens were preparing for something important. Their voices were filled with excitement, and their steps quickened. Aaron felt lost. He was given a fine robe to wear, not the simple servant clothes he always wore. The fabric was soft, glowing faintly under the lights. His confusion grew. He asked why, but no one gave him a clear answer. They only said, "You will see soon." When the ship landed, a vast crowd awaited. Thousands of aliens filled the shining plaza. Their eyes glowed like twin stars. They chanted words Aaron did not understand. The sound shook his bones. Then, suddenly, strong hands guided him forward. Aaron tried to resist. "Wait, I'm only a servant," he said, his voice cracked, but no one listened. He was pushed into the center of the plaza. The aliens surrounded him in a circle. Their leader stepped forward. His tall form was wrapped in silver armor. His voice rang out like thunder. "This is the one," the leader said. "The Lifemate has come. The human has been chosen." Aaron's breath caught in his chest. His knees weakened. He shook his head. "No, not me. I'm only a servant," he whispered. But the crowd roared. Their chants grew louder. His name filled the air. Aaron, Aaron, Aaron. For the first time in his life, the servant who thought he was nothing stood at the center of everything. He was no longer invisible. He was no longer ignored. He was chosen. But chosen for what? That question haunted him as the plaza shook with alien voices. He felt their eyes, their hope, their hunger, and deep inside, a strange energy stirred. Something ancient, something alive. It reached out from their hearts into his, binding him before he even understood what it meant. Aaron's life as a servant had ended. His destiny had just begun. The plaza was alive with sound. Thousands of alien voices rose together, their chants shaking the air like thunder. Aaron stood in the middle, trembling. His heart raced as if it would break free from his chest. He wanted to run, to hide, to disappear into the shadows where a servant belonged, but the circle of glowing eyes around him would not allow escape. The leader stepped forward. His silver armor caught the light, shining so brightly it seemed like a star had descended. He raised his hand, and the crowd fell silent. "The time has come," the leader said. His voice echoed like waves against stone. "The chosen bond will awaken, and the life-mate will guide us." Aaron shook his head quickly. "No, you are wrong," he whispered. His words were small against the ocean of silence. "I am only a servant. I don't know anything. I don't belong here." But the leader's eyes were calm and deep. "You were never only a servant," he said. "You were always more. You carry something within you that even you do not see. Today it will be revealed." Strong alien hands guided Aaron forward. They took him to a raised platform at the center of the plaza. Carved into the stone were glowing patterns, symbols that pulsed like living veins. The moment his feet touched the platform, the symbols lit up brighter. The crowd gasped. Aaron looked down in horror. The ground itself was responding to him. A soft hum filled the air, vibrations running through his skin. "This cannot be real," he thought. But no matter how much he denied it, the proof was glowing beneath his feet. The leader spoke again. "The bond is ancient, older than our people. It chooses not by rank, not by power, but by heart. And the heart of this human answers the call." Aaron wanted to scream that they were wrong. But before he could, the ritual began. The aliens formed a circle. Their hands rose as beams of light stretched from palm to palm, creating a dome around him. The air grew heavy, and a strange warmth wrapped around his chest. His breath quickened. His skin tingled as if touched by unseen hands. Then came the vision. The world vanished. The plaza, the aliens, the platform. All faded into a sea of darkness. Only Aaron remained, standing in nothingness. From the void, shapes appeared, giant creatures of light and shadow. They spoke without words, their voices entering directly into his mind. "Human," they said, "you are the bridge. You are the life-mate." Aaron shook his head inside the vision. "I don't understand. Why me? I am no leader. I have no power." "Power is not what we seek," the voices replied. "It is your heart. The thing you call humanity. It is rare. It is pure. It is what binds us. Without you, the circle will break." Aaron fell to his knees. His hands dug into the nothingness beneath him. "I can't do this," he whispered, but even as he said it, the bond pulled tighter around him, filling his chest with warmth that turned into fire. The fire did not burn. It awakened. When he opened his eyes again, the plaza returned. The dome of light shattered into 1,000 sparks, and they fell like stars upon the crowd. The aliens bowed, their voices rising in song. It was not just ceremony. It was worship. Aaron stood in shock. His body felt heavy and light at the same time. His skin glowed faintly with the same energy as the platform. He looked at his hands, trembling. They were no longer only the hands of servant. Something new flowed through them, something alive. The leader approached and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Do you see now?" he asked. "You are the life-mate. The bond has chosen you, and none can deny it." Aaron pulled away, fear gripping him. "But I never asked for this," he said. "I wanted only to serve, to live quietly. This is not my path." The leader's gaze softened. "Destiny rarely asks what we want. It only asks what we are." The crowd roared again. Their chants shook the plaza as they called his name. "Aaron, Aaron, Aaron." The sound pressed against his ears, against his chest, until he could hardly breathe. He was no longer invisible, no longer hidden. He was their center, their hope, their bond. And yet, in the back of his mind, fear whispered, for if they had chosen him for something this great, then surely danger would come. The ritual was only the beginning. Aaron could still feel the warmth burning in his chest. The ritual was over, but the fire inside him was not gone. It pulsed with every heartbeat, a steady rhythm that was not fully his own. When he closed his eyes, he could sense the aliens around him, not just their presence, but their emotions, fear, hope, wonder, and even doubt. It was overwhelming, like standing in the middle of a storm. He stumbled back, gasping, "What is happening to me?" He whispered, his hands trembled. He wanted to rip the strange feeling out of his body, but the bond would not let him go. It tightened, it deepened, it grew. The leader, still standing tall before him, spoke softly. The bond is alive now. You feel us, and we feel you. It is not a curse, human. It is the gift that makes you our life mate. But Aaron was not ready to accept it. His voice cracked as he shouted, I never wanted this. I never asked for it. I was only a servant. His words echoed through the plaza. But even as he spoke them, the crowd remained silent, bowing their heads. Their silence was louder than their chants. That night, Aaron was not allowed to return to the servant quarters. Instead, he was given a chamber of crystal walls that glowed faintly. The air smelled of flowers and strange herbs. The bed was soft, far softer than the thin sheet he had known before, but Aaron could not rest. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw flashes, alien faces, their memories, their fears, and even their secret joys. It was as if their lives were bleeding into his own. At one point, he cried out, clutching his head, Make it stop. He whispered, Please make it stop. But the bond had no mercy. It pulled him deeper. And then something happened. He saw a young alien child, crying in a distant home. He saw the child's loneliness, the fear of losing parents to war. The image was so strong that Aaron's own chest ached. He could feel the child's tears, even though they were not his own. Without thinking, he reached out, his hand pressed against the crystal wall, and suddenly the child's crying slowed. The fear eased. The bond had carried his comfort across the distance. Aaron fell back in shock. I felt him. He whispered, and he felt me. The door to his chamber slid open. A tall alien entered, her skin glowing faint blue. Her eyes held curiosity. You have begun to understand, she said. The bond is not chains. It is connection. When you suffer, we feel it. When you heal, we heal, too. Aaron stared at her, his voice low. But how can I hold so much? There are thousands of you. I cannot carry all of it. The alien woman gave a small smile. You do not carry us alone. You share, and we share in return. That is the balance. That is why only a life mate can complete it. But the truth did not calm him. It terrified him. For if he could feel their pain, then he could also feel their anger, their hatred, their despair. And he knew not all aliens welcomed him. Some watched him with respect, but others with cold eyes, eyes that wished him gone. The next day proved his fear. When Aaron walked through the glowing streets of the alien city, thousands bowed. But among the crowd, he caught the sharp sting of jealousy. It struck his chest like a knife, though no one had touched him. His breath shook. His eyes darted toward the source. A group of aliens standing apart. Their faces were twisted with suspicion. Their thoughts reached him like whispers of poison. He is human. He is weak. He cannot lead us. Aaron staggered, pressing a hand to his heart. The bond carried their hatred into him, and it hurt more than any wound. Yet, even in that pain, he felt something else. Voices of kindness, trust, and hope. Those voices reached out like hands pulling him back from the edge. He realized the truth then. The bond was not only power. It was a mirror he could not hide. He could not pretend. Every feeling of theirs touched him, and every piece of his heart touched them. That night, when he lay down again, Aaron whispered to himself, I am no longer only a servant. His voice shook. But if I am their life mate, then what am I becoming? The bond answered not with words, but with a wave of warmth. It was not human, not alien. It was both. And as Aaron closed his eyes, he understood one thing. His old life was gone, and something far greater had awakened. But he did not know yet if it was a blessing or a curse. The days after the ritual moved like a strange dream. Aaron was no longer treated as a servant. The same aliens who once walked past him without a word now bowed their heads. They spoke his name with respect. Some even knelt when he entered a room. But none of it brought comfort. Instead, it weighed on him like heavy chains. Everywhere he walked, he felt their emotions pressing into him. The bond made sure of it. Joy, fear, doubt, longing, it all poured into him. Sometimes he nearly collapsed from the storm of feelings that were not his own. He had never asked for their hearts, and now he could not escape them. At night, when he was alone in the glowing crystal chamber, Aaron would whisper to himself, I am only human. He said it again and again, as if the words could protect him, but the bond always answered. It whispered back through warmth, through fire, through voices he could not silence. The alien leader came often. His tall figure seemed carved from steel, but his eyes carried something softer. He would watch Aaron struggle and finally say, "You are afraid. That is good. Fear means you understand the weight of what you hold." "I don't want this weight," Aaron replied once, his voice breaking. "I wanted a quiet life. I wanted to serve clean floors, carry food. That was enough for me." The leader placed a hand on his shoulder. "A quiet life may be safe, but destiny does not ask what you want. It asks what you are, and you, Aaron, are more than you believe." But not everyone agreed. Whispers followed him in the streets. Some aliens bowed with pride. Others muttered under their breath, "A human cannot lead. The bond is wrong. He will bring ruin." Their doubt stabbed into Aaron's heart, as if it were his own doubt. The bond made it impossible to hide from their judgment. One evening, as he walked through the glowing market streets, he felt something darker, not just jealousy, but hatred. It struck him like a spear through his chest. His steps faltered. He turned sharply, searching for the source. There in the crowd stood a small group of aliens with sharp, cold eyes. They did not bow. They did not whisper respect. Instead, their thoughts bled through the bond, pure and poisonous. "He is unworthy. He is dangerous. He must not live." Aaron's chest tightened. He gasped for breath as their hatred pressed into him. The crowd around him cheered his name, but those voices of trust could not fully silence the poison. He stumbled away, his heart racing. That night, he sat on the edge of his bed, his hands shaking. "They hate me," he whispered. "Some of them truly want me dead." The alien woman with glowing blue skin visited again. She had been kind to him since the ritual. She listened quietly and finally said, "It is true. Not all welcome the bond. Some see it as hope, others see it as threat. But you are not alone. You are bound to us, and those who believe will fight for you." Aaron looked at her with tired eyes. "But what if they are right? What if I am too weak? I cannot even control what I feel." "You are human," she said softly, "and it is that humanity that makes you strong. We do not need perfection, Aaron. We need your heart." Her words touched him, but the doubt did not fade. Deep inside, Aaron felt torn in two. On one side was the quiet servant who wanted only a simple life. On the other was the life-mate the aliens believed in, the bridge between worlds. Which one was truly him? The answer did not come. Instead, the shadows grew. Late that night, when the city slept, Aaron felt a sudden chill run through the bond. It was sharp, dangerous, a warning. He sat up in his bed, his skin crawling. From somewhere in the city, voices whispered like knives, plotting in secret. Their words slipped through the bond into his mind. He cannot remain. He must fall before the bond grows stronger. Aaron's heart pounded. He realized then that his fear was not only in his head. It was real. Somewhere out there, hidden in the dark, enemies were moving, and their target was him. The servant who had become a life-mate was no longer safe. The alien city glittered under twin moons. Its crystal towers shone like silver fire. Yet beneath that beauty, shadows moved. Aaron could feel it long before he saw it. The bond carried whispers of unease, hidden voices that did not speak aloud. They moved like knives in the dark, sharp and secret. He tried to push the feelings away, but they followed him everywhere, in the market streets, among cheering crowds, even in the glowing halls of the palace. The unease clung to him. He felt watched, measured, hunted. That night, the warning came. Aaron was walking through one of the narrow, crystal corridors, the walls glowing softly around him. Suddenly the warmth of the bond turned cold. His chest tightened. He froze, eyes darting into the shadows. Then they struck. Figures stepped from the darkness. 3 aliens cloaked in black armor, their faces hidden, their thoughts pierced through the bond like poison. He does not belong. He is weak. End it now. Aaron's breath caught. "Wait, please," he said. His voice trembled, his hands lifted in surrender. "I am not your enemy." But they did not listen. One lunged forward, a blade of shimmering energy flashing in the light. Aaron stumbled back, his heart pounding. He had no weapon, no training. He was only a servant, but the bond had other plans. The moment the blade came near, the fire inside his chest roared. His skin glowed faintly, and instinct guided his hand. Without thinking, he raised his arm. A shockwave of energy burst from him, throwing the attacker across the corridor. The alien slammed into the wall with a cry. Aaron stared at his hands in horror. What did I just do? The other two attackers did not hesitate. They rushed him together, blades cutting through the air. Aaron's body moved before his mind could. His heart raced. His breath came sharp. He felt their hatred as if it were his own, and he pushed it back. The bond flared, and a wave of force burst outward, knocking both of them to the ground. The corridor filled with silence. Aaron stood shaking, his chest burning with a strange power. His enemies groaned on the floor, their eyes wide with shock. From behind him came footsteps. Guards rushed in, their armor shining. They surrounded the fallen attackers. Their leader turned to Aaron, his voice steady. "You are safe, Lifemate. We will deal with them." But Aaron did not feel safe. His hand still trembled, his chest still burned. He whispered, "I could have killed them." The leader looked at him with calm eyes. "The bond protects you. It will not let you fall while danger surrounds you." Aaron shook his head. "But I never wanted this. I am not a warrior. I'm not a leader. I am just..." His voice broke. "I am just me." The guard stepped closer, his voice lowering. "And that is why you were chosen. You fight not with anger, but with fear and heart. That is what makes you strong." Yet Aaron could not accept it fully. The images of the attackers haunted him. He could still feel their hatred inside his chest. It had not faded. It lingered like a poison. Later, in his chamber, the alien woman visited again. Her eyes glowed softly as she sat beside him. "You have seen it now," she said gently. "Not all welcome you. Some believe your bond threatens their place. They fear you, and fear breeds violence." Aaron lowered his head. "And if they come again? What if next time I cannot stop them? Or what if I lose control?" She placed a hand on his trembling one. "The bond is not a weapon. It is connection. If you fight with hate, it will consume you. But if you fight with the truth of your heart, it will protect you." Her words stayed with him, but sleep did not come easily. In the dark of the night, Aaron stared at the glowing ceiling, his mind heavy with questions, his chest still burning with power he did not understand. He realized something then. He could no longer run from this. He could not pretend to be only a servant. His enemies would not allow it. His allies would not allow it. And the bond itself would not release him. For better or worse, he was the Lifemate. But as his eyes finally closed, a final thought chilled him. The shadows would return. They had not been defeated, only delayed. The servant who once dreamed of being invisible had now become a target, and the true battle was only beginning. The attack in the corridor changed everything. Aaron could still feel the shock in his chest, the fear of blades cutting through the air, the weight of power rushing out of him without warning. He had survived, but survival was not enough. The shadows would come again, and next time he might not escape so easily. The alien leaders summoned him to the council chamber. The walls glowed with shifting colors. Voices echoed in the air like a chorus of wind. All eyes turned toward Aaron when he entered. He felt their emotions through the bond. Trust, doubt, curiosity, fear, it all pressed against him, heavy and suffocating. "You are no longer unseen," the leader said, his voice carried across the chamber, calm but unyielding. "You are the Lifemate. You must stand with us, not as a servant, but as one who guides." Aaron's heart raced. "Guide?" he repeated. "I don't even know how to guide myself. I was never trained for this." The leader stepped closer, his silver armor gleaming in the light. "True leaders are not trained. They are revealed. The bond has chosen, and you cannot refuse it." Aaron lowered his head, his voice barely a whisper. "But I am afraid." The leader placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then lead with that fear, for it is honest, and honesty is stronger than pride." From that day, Aaron was no longer hidden. He walked among the people, not as a servant, but as their Lifemate. Crowds gathered when he passed. Some bowed in reverence. Others watched with suspicion. He felt every emotion pouring into him. But slowly, he began to answer back. When he felt their fear, he offered calm. When he felt their anger, he offered patience. When he felt their sorrow, he offered hope. It was not easy. Every moment was a storm. Yet the more he opened his heart, the more the bond responded. The people began to see not just a human, but a reflection of themselves within him. One evening, a crisis struck. A great storm of energy swept across the alien city, tearing down crystal spires and flooding the glowing streets with dangerous light. The people panicked. Their fears surged into Aaron's chest, nearly breaking him. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. But then he remembered the woman's words. The bond is not a weapon. It is connection. He closed his eyes, breathing deeply. Instead of pushing the fear away, he embraced it. He let it flow into him, and then he returned his own calm through the bond. Slowly, the panic eased. The voices quieted. The people began to breathe again. Their eyes turned to him, no longer wild with terror, but steady with trust. "You saved them," the alien woman whispered, her voice filled with awe. Aaron shook his head. "No, they saved themselves. I only reminded them to listen to what was already inside." But the truth was clear. He was no longer only reacting, he was guiding. As days passed, the council began to seek his voice and decisions. They asked him to sit among them, to listen, to speak. At first, he refused, insisting he had nothing to give. But slowly, his words began to shape their choices. He reminded them of mercy when they leaned toward cruelty. He urged patience when they rushed toward anger. He asked questions no one else dared to ask. Some aliens still doubted. Their thoughts cut into him like sharp stones. He is human. He does not belong. He will lead us to ruin. Yet even those voices grew weaker, for the bond carried more voices of trust than hate. Aaron was changing. He could feel it. The quiet servant who once carried trays now carried hearts. He no longer walked with his head bowed. He lifted his eyes, meeting theirs not with pride, but with resolve. But deep inside, fear still lingered, for if he was becoming their leader, then the shadows plotting against him would not stop. They would grow desperate. They would strike harder. And when they did, Aaron would no longer have the choice to step aside. He would have to stand. The servant who had once dreamed of invisibility was becoming the center of everything, and the path ahead promised not peace, but war. The city was quiet, too quiet. Aaron stood on the balcony of the Crystal Palace, looking out over the glowing towers. For days, he had felt the tension building through the bond, fear, doubt, and anger twisted together like a storm waiting to break. The shadows had not vanished. They had only grown darker. That night, the storm finally came. From the far side of the city, explosions of light ripped through the air. The ground shook. Alarms rang across the towers. Aaron staggered back, clutching his chest. The bond screamed with terror. Thousands of voices rushed into him. Fear upon fear, panic upon panic. It nearly crushed him. The attackers had returned, stronger and greater in number. They were not only assassins this time. They were rebels. Aliens who rejected the bond, who saw Aaron not as hope, but as a threat to their future. They marched on the palace with weapons glowing like fire. Their chants cut through the night. And the false Lifemate, and the human. Aaron's breath shook. His hands trembled. He was only one man. How could he stand against so many? The servant inside him whispered to run, to hide, to disappear again into shadows. But the Lifemate inside him burned. The alien leader came to him, armor shining with the reflection of fire. "The choice is yours," he said, his voice calm even as the city shook. "You can walk away, return to the quiet life you long for, or you can stand and be what the bond has made you." Aaron looked down at his trembling hands. He thought of the years he had lived unseen, bowing, serving, forgotten. He thought of the faces that now looked to him with hope, of the child whose fear he had calmed, of the thousands who trusted him, and he thought of the rebels who carried only hatred. He lifted his head. "I cannot walk away," he whispered. His voice grew stronger. "If I run now, everything they believe in will break. I will not let them fall." The leader bowed his head. "Then stand, Lifemate, and let them see who you are. When the rebels reached the palace gates, Aaron stepped forward, alone, unarmed. His heart pounded like thunder. The bond flared inside him. Brighter than ever before, the voices of thousands poured into him. Not of fear now, but of trust. They lent him their strength, their courage, their hope. Aaron raised his hands. His voice rang across the plaza. I was a servant once, unseen and forgotten, but now I am bound to you, and you are bound to me. If you strike me down, you strike yourselves, for I am not apart from you. I am you. The bond exploded outward. A wave of pure energy spread across the plaza. It was not a weapon. It was truth. The rebels staggered as their hatred turned back upon them. They felt what Aaron felt. His fear, his sorrow, his longing for peace. His humanity struck them harder than any blade. Some dropped their weapons. Some fell to their knees. And though not all were changed, the battle slowed. The fire of rebellion dimmed. Aaron stood in the center, glowing faintly with the light of the bond, his voice steady now. You can kill me, but you cannot kill what I am. I'm the bridge between us. I am the Lifemate, and I will not abandon you. Silence fell. The rebels hesitated. The crowd behind him surged forward. Thousands of aliens lifting their hands, their voices joining his. Their unity filled the air like thunder. The rebels, outnumbered not by weapons but by belief, began to retreat. One by one, their chants died, the storm faded. When the city was calm again, Aaron fell to his knees, exhausted, his chest burned with the weight of what had happened. The leader came to him, placing a hand on his shoulder. You chose not power but heart, he said, and that is why you have one. Aaron looked up, his voice weak but steady. I am no longer just a servant, he whispered, and yet I will always be one, for to lead is to serve, and if I must serve forever, let it be as the Lifemate. The plaza erupted with voices, not of anger or hatred, but of unity. For the first time, human and alien stood together, not as master and servant, not as strangers, but as one. The servant had become their heart, their bridge, their destiny. Aaron had made his choice, and nothing would ever be the same again.